Hey guys, this is Asad Siddiqui back again, and this time we'll be doing a demo on the Revolution slider. In my previous Avada WordPress theme demos, we talked about different page layouts and different theme options that you could go with. I still have this test server up and running because I use this theme a lot for my clients. Um, I'm the developer and owner at iDesignSmart.com. The link to my website is underneath of this tutorial. And a lot of my clients or people that looked at my videos had this feedback to know or learn more about the Revolution slider that I reference in my videos, and some of the Revolution sliders that I've done for my clients. So I'm here to give you a quick walkthrough, walk you through all the options of different ways that you can set up this slider. And this is not just a specific to theme Avada, but you can use this in any WordPress theme that you like. I've integrated this in WordPress themes that don't support it, so it is you can always include the support for this slider on your site. And I've compared the performance of this slider with other sliders as well, like layer slider, and I found this to be more flexible than a lot of different other options. So we'll talk about it, and I'll give you the best practices, and I'll also tell you about how you can go about configuring one for your site. So this is the built-in slider. It comes with the Avada theme. All you have to do is to install the Revolution slider plugin. This is a premier plugin, so it is not free, and unless your theme bundles it, you'll have to purchase a license from Code Canyon to be able to use it. And if your theme bundles it, then actually you get it for free, and all you need to do is activate it. But the version you get is the version you get. You're not going to get free updates or anything like that. So it's a bundled one-time activation. You don't have to do any of that. You just click on the install button after doing your theme. I already installed it, so I cannot show you the installation process. So to get started, I will go to my dashboard, and because my plugin is installed and activated, I will see an option right here called Revolution slider, and there is also punch fonts that's included in it. It's an easy way to include new fonts that you can use for styles for the sliders. So we will get started and click on the Revolution slider. Because I imported the demo content on my test server here, it already comes with Avada full width, Avada page slider, caption stall. So we are looking at the main slider, or we are interested to do the main slider. So this is the slider that got imported with the sample content, and it has very nice options already set up. So I can see that they are using a auto responsive layout. You can go with a fixed if your site is not responsive or you don't care about mobile layouts. You can define a custom, and when you define a custom, it gives you different widths that the slider will be when your screen width changes. So if the screen width is 940 pixels, your slider will be this much. If it's 780, it will be this much, and if it's 510, if it's this much. So before or back in time, they had this for responsive, but the auto responsive, I like that option. It's much cleaner, so I don't have to do anything. And these are the defaults that it comes with. Grid width. Now on the WordPress Avada theme, it is a full width slider, or you can go like a boxed slider too. So this full width, like if you look at this full width and I just do a inspect element on it, you will see it will be like 1583 pixels by 450 pixels in height. That's the full width if you're going to go full width. So if you look here, this is 1100. So the grid width of a full width slider on Avada theme will be 1100, and the height can be 450. Other than that, it has a lot of options. These two fields are mandatory, so you'll have to fill up those two fields, and then it generates a short code that you can put in your site anywhere you want, or the page templates and Avada theme have built-in support for this. And so my other video tells you how to select the one that you create. And we are going to create a new one, or I'll just duplicate this and show you how you can play around with it. Just talking about general settings, this is the delay that each slide will have. So if you want a slide for 8 seconds, you can just make, this is in milliseconds, so it can be like 8,000 for 8 seconds and 15,000 for 15 seconds. Shuffle mode, for example, if you have 3 slides in your slider and you want them to be in a shuffled order, so slide 1 displays and randomly slide 2 can be displayed as the third slide, and third can be displayed on the second, or the first can be displayed at third. So this is random and you don't know what that is. Lazy load, when you are loading any sliders, like you have a slider and maybe it has like 15 images in it, all those images have to download on the client side, client browser, and then your slideshow is going to start. So many times when you're doing, like, a lot of people use this plugin for to create slideshows of like maybe an event. So they have like 100 photos that they want to display as a slideshow. So if they wait for those 100 photos to be downloaded on the client side, the website will become extremely slow and not responsive at all, because basically the viewer will have to wait till every picture downloads. So then you turn this lazy load on, and whenever it will move on to the next slide and then download it. So it's not a very smooth transition if you go with this, but it gives you the flexibility if you have a lot of images. So for default, for 3 or 4 slides, I recommend that you turn this off, and then your transition will be much more smoother. And because you don't have a number of slides, they don't have to download completely. WPML is WordPress multi-language plugin. If you're going to do in like other languages other than English, then you can turn it on, and you have resource files where you can define the strings. The next one, enable static layers. I'm not sure exactly what this is. I believe this is just a static image as opposed to layers, so you don't have any layers on the slide. And then the important one, loop and progress, is pretty self-explanatory, so you can configure this however you want. The next important one is appearance. You can configure it to be no shadow, or shadow underneath the slider. And then you can also define the background color of the slider. So in this case, it's white. This is the hex code for white, but you can select from here. Another important one is navigation. Like if you look at this slider, it has this underneath, and it does not show anything as a bullet list, which I really like. I don't like this bulleted list or thumbnails here, because when you go responsive on a very narrower view, then the navigation will mess up. So I don't like that, but if you want to have that, what you can do is come here, and in the bullet type, you can select however you want. So if I change this to bullet and update it, you'll start see those bullets. So if I do that and do save settings, and then refresh my page, you will see that some bullets will start to appear like this. So these are the bullets used for navigation, but I don't like them at all. So I will just change that setting again. This will be none, and save settings. And then if you're displaying bullets and navigation, then you move on to these 2 sections and configure them. If you want to display thumbnails as navigation, then you do the thumbnail settings here. A very neat feature in this slider is parallax images. You can also do parallax, and I have talked about parallax in great detail in my other videos if you want to watch. The reason I'm going with the pre-built slider is it's much easier to not do the work, because I want the video to be quick. So what I will do is I will move back, and I will duplicate this slider. So I will keep the slider that we have, and I will just duplicate it by clicking on this orange icon here, and then it says the duplicate slider is successfully created, and this is the one that I duplicated, slider 5. So I will go to slider 5, which is basically a duplicate, and I will just name it something that I know that I'm just doing for testing purposes. And you see that the I can change this short, no, actually this is not editable, so I cannot really change the shortcode. I think when we update this and save this alias, it's gonna update this slider 5 as well here. So this is gallery, and you see that because I duplicated it, all the settings are exactly the same. So now what I can do is save settings, and once I save settings, I'm interested to know what this looks like. I think I have to go back and see what it looks like. It is called slider 5 underscore acid. So, and the short code is slider 5 underscore acid here as well. So now we go to edit slides, and then when we go to edit slides, it's going to display our 3 slides. So let's say if I want to delete a slide, I just click on the delete button right here. And for right now, we will just go with whatever the top slide is. We'll just play around with that, and I'll show you an example because I just want to do one slide and maybe 2 slides, so you can also see the transitions. And then we'll just configure this one slide to be something else. So basically what you do is it's a layered approach. So this is your first slide, and because I selected first slide, here is how it looks like. And there all the display all the layers are selectable here. So when I click on different things, like let's say this, a different thing gets selected over here, and I can drag or drop this or do whatever I want. I don't want to change anything, so I will just not save my changes. And where it says Avada WP theme, let's say we want to drag this around, we can absolutely drag that around. Instead, let's say I want to change this text to something else, and I can say my sports car, and because I have a picture of a sports car that I'll be using in this demo, we'll just caption it like that. And then I can click on this, and then I will have some text here, and I can change that. And once I change that, basically I'm changing layer 6, my sports car is awesome. And then before, what I changed was layer 5, which was my sports car. And then I can also change the styles, positions, and animation that will be displayed when these layers are rendered. So basically if I click again on my sports car, what it's gonna tell you is my sports car will enter your screen at 21,000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds. Once the slide is in, your layer will display, and it will exit at 9,000 seconds. So it stays till the life of your slider. And then if you select this, then it tells you that this one is going to be 300 milliseconds after the first, and then it also displays till the life of the slide. And then you have this some text, and you can always like change it. And then you have I thought I changed it, so now it should be changed. So this should be like much bigger than what this is. And then you have a button. So this button is like HTML, and when it gets rendered, you see that green, awesome green. So let's talk about how we change styles. Let's say I want to get rid of these things, so I can select this image and just select hit this delete layer button here, and it's gonna delete that. And then I can select this, delete it, this, and delete it. So now I don't have any slides. Now let's say I want to add an image, so I can do a add layer image, and then I can select from my media library. So I have a cool image that I just grabbed from somewhere, and then it's on my desktop. One very important thing, I have this awesome Ferrari. One very important thing is, if you are going to use images on the slider, make sure these images are transparent. So you see that you can still see the background here. This will turn out to be a good slider because it's being the image is transparent. So if this image was not transparent, then you can use Photoshop or some photo edit tool, and I will maybe sometime do a separate video on some Photoshop tricks, and you can use that to make the image transparent. Mostly these are PNG files, and then once you have a transparent image, another cool thing that you can do is make this image grayscale, and then you can overlay the image so it looks like a shadow, and that looks like a cool animation, or a cool effect, or you can do like tricks with your photo to make it look good. Now the important part with these things, the revolution slider for example, is you always can have this selected on the screen. Go to this animation tab here, and then you can select different kinds of animation. Maybe I'll say short from right. That will be the, I think, the best one for the and when you do that, it shows you a preview here how it's going to look like. And start duration is basically tells you what the speed is going to be. So 300 milliseconds I think is too fast, so I will make it 2100 milliseconds, and now you see it's coming off very slow. So it will basically, it will be like it comes from here and goes here. So that's how it's gonna look like. And once I have that, I can do a number of effects here as well. Like we'll talk about maybe a few of them, and then I can, how it leaves is going to be, again I will just make 2100, and I will make this 7000 seconds instead. So this car is gonna go away after we reach 7 seconds. So if I do update slide, now I have a slider which I modified, and then I can change my page. I will just change this page to display my new slider in Avada theme, and this this I talk about in my other video as well on how to do that. The slider type is revolution slider selected, and revolution slider, instead of having a Avada full width, I'll use slider 5 underscore acid, and then I will update this page. I'm sorry if my tutorials sound very technical. I am a very technical person, and this is what I like to do. I am not a very language oriented person. I'm more like a developer, so it is my tutorials are more technical than I guess they should be, or a lot of people tell me that they are too technical. So if I do the view page now, I try to make them as easy as possible. So if we go to this, and then my slider is gonna show up, and then my sports car is awesome. So now I can play around. You see how, like, if I go back to this slide, this is the second slide, so you can see the transition. If I go to the next slide, you see the car will come away and go away, will come in, and now it's gonna go away. Oh, so that's the effect that I was talking about. So if you go back here and maybe change this short from right to long from top, so it'll fall from the top, and I will change the speed to like 2500 instead. So update the slide, and now if we refresh this page, you will see that the car will come from the top to the bottom as opposed to from short from right. So now it's a different effect and it goes away like that. So you can play around with picture. Basically, it's configuring a slider is tricks that you can do with your graphics. So you can have like a grayscale background picture, blur out things, and we'll do a separate tutorial on how Photoshop can be used for this web design purposes. And you can also, importantly, what you can do is change these styles that are built in. So let's say my sports car is awesome, is green, and my car is red, so this doesn't make sense. So let's say if I wanted to change that, what are my options? I see the style tab here is Avada medium green text. What I can do is develop my own style. So what I can do is edit style, and here are your options. So instead of being green, I will just change it to red, or I'll find out what the color code is on my red car, and then I'll select that same color code here, and then I will do that, and I will change the border color as well while I'm at it. So I can actually grab this and then I can paste this here, and then they have the same color code, and then I can say save. Once I say save, it says, do you want to override it? No, I don't want to override it. I want to keep the original style, but I want to create a new one, and instead of this I will call it Asad Slider 5 or something. So you can say save as new, and then you will see Asset Slider 5 is showing up here, and this text is red now. So I can style in similar ways. If I go to edit style, you will see the font can be changed. So line height I can change to 40 instead of whatever I got, and then I can say the font size I can change to that and say save change, and I will just say save because I just want to keep the current style. So now my sports car will be much bigger, and then I can just drag it somewhere or do whatever pretty much. So you get the idea of how it is, and then you can update the slide. I'll just go to the main page again and just refresh it so you can see how it looks like now. So the car is gonna fall from the top. It has a background and the text will be red. Similarly, I can change the colors of this green button to be red, or like however I want to style it. Basically, you can pretty much do these sliders any way you want. The key is to have good graphics and good effects to go with it. So I hope that this helped, and if you have any questions or you'd like my feedback on anything, or you'd like to contact me and tell me about your custom requirement to do a small business website, I'd love to talk to you, and then we can go from there. Thanks very much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.